Hey everybody, it's 3 Things Thursday, and today I want to share with you 3 of my current favorites from the makeup line Hard Candy. Hard Candy is a line that I believe is exclusively carried by Walmart. If I'm mistaken, let me know, but as far as I know, I've only seen them at Walmart, and they're a very affordable brand. Hard Candy is a cruelty-free brand, so they are kind to animals, and they're extremely affordable as well, and their products have a very good quality. So if you're looking for something along those lines and you're just starting out in makeup, this would be a great line for you to try out because it doesn't cost a lot, but you get some really good products. So I'll show you some of my current favorites. My first favorite that I'm showing you guys, this is the Hard Candy Glamouflage Invisible Camouflage Foundation, and this recently came out. I think it came out at the beginning of this year, so early 2015. And when I first bought this, there were no reviews on it at all because it was just that new. The shade that I have is 931 Fair, and that runs to about an NC20 if you're looking at a MAC comparison, so it works better for my skin in the summertime. As far as I can tell, all of the shades in the line kind of run warmer. There may be a couple that are slightly cooler toned, but even the warm tones kind of are on the peachy side of warm rather than the yellow side of warm. So if you have very yellow skin like I do, you may not be able to find a shade that works well for you. As well, it doesn't have a lot of shades. It's kind of average for a drugstore where it doesn't run very deep or very pale. I think the palest tone is about an NC10, so if you're much paler than that, you may not have any luck finding your shade. In terms of the packaging, it's a plastic package. It's got 1.1 fluid ounces, so just a tiny bit more than the average drugstore foundation. It comes with a nice cap and a pump, which is really great because that means you can control exactly how much foundation you want to use. When I first started using it, it had a bit of a rubbery, sort of chemically smell. And even now when I do use it now, I can still smell that a tiny bit, but it's worn away quite a bit. Unless you actually open the packaging and give it a sniff like that, that's when you'll smell it. But other than that, it doesn't really have as much of a smell anymore. If you are sensitive to smells though, when you first start using it, you will probably gag because it is a very, very strong smell and you can smell it on your skin. So it's not the typical sort of rosy or powdery scents. This one is straight up rubbery chemicals. I don't want to go too crazy with this review because I'm planning to do a more detailed one later on, but essentially I'll just tell you guys a bit of the basics. It has sort of a moussey texture. It's kind of not liquidy but not really thick, and it feels really good when you're applying it. I prefer to use a sponge when I'm applying it, that way I can actually kind of shear it out a little bit because it can get cakey if you are using your fingers or a brush to really pile it on. On its own, it does give a light to medium coverage. You can build it. I find that on my skin, once I start building it, it starts to cake up sort of where I've got more creases on my face, so like under my eyes, here by my nose, a little bit on my forehead, so it's not really the look I'm going for, but I do really like this for my combo skin. I find that it kind of will show off dry patches. However, if you do moisturize and prime beforehand, you have no issues with that whatsoever. This claims to have 12 hours of wear and have clay in it for oil absorption, so it's supposed to be really good for people with oily skin. On my oily skin, which happens to be across the T-zone and across the tops of my cheeks, it isn't completely long wearing. I find around the 6 to 8 hour mark it starts to fade off. It isn't the kind of fading off or melting off that you see with other foundations where they come off in big patches or chunks on your face and you just look really weird. This one's a very even wear, and that's what I like about it. It just starts to fade very gently, and you'll just notice that there's less and less coverage as the day goes on. So if you do use oil blotting papers or if you have powders and you just touch up, you should be able to get that 12 hours of wear that they claim. I've never tried. I don't really touch up my makeup very often, so I haven't really tried to extend it to the 12 hours of wear, but I think it could be doable. In terms of transfer, I think that it's got a very light transfer. If you are oilier or it's humid and hot out, there does tend to be a little bit more transfer onto, other surfaces. So be aware of that if you have more oily skin. But again, if you blot and you use powders or you use a setting spray, something to keep it on your face, you're less likely to experience transfer, and it doesn't have as much transfer as some of the other foundations I've used. It's not the kind of foundation I would go for if I really wanted to keep a contour on my face. I usually just go with a blush and a bit of highlight, and I do see that they start to fade off probably around the same time that the foundation starts to wear. So that's something to keep in mind. This may not be the type of foundation you're looking for unless maybe you set it with some sort of spray. If you're prone to breakouts and you're worried about that, or you're worried about sensitivity in your skin, I haven't had any problems with acne or extra pimples showing up. I haven't had any irritation on my skin. This seems to work pretty well, and I don't have the most hardy skin in the world, so I do tend to get sensitivity mostly along my jawline, and this hasn't aggravated that at all. This is about $8 or $9 Canadian, so it might be even cheaper for you in the States. And this comes with a 1.1 fluid ounces, and I only use about 3/4 of a pump for my entire face. I'm not using up a whole ton of it each time, so if you're the kind of person who really sticks to just one foundation, try this one out. If it turns out to be the one that you love, you're not going to be breaking the bank to buy it over and over and over again, and it does seem to last forever. The next thing I'm going to show you guys is the Hard Candy Glamouflage Heavy Duty Concealer. This has been a cult favorite, and for good reason. It is a super high coverage concealer, and I've seen people do demos where they can cover up entire tattoos with this stuff. So a little bit of this goes a long way. For $6 or $7, you're getting 20 grams of product. That's 0.71 ounces of product. And this lasts forever because you really only need the tiniest amount. Otherwise, it can get cakey. So if you are gonna buy this and use it for under your eyes, I really do suggest the littlest amount. I literally use about a pinprick for each eye underneath, and then if I need to, I build on top of that, but again, very, very small layers. You don't want to be piling a whole ton on because it can get cakey, and I've seen some people complain about it. They say they don't like it because of that, but you're using it wrong if that's the case. You really do have to use just the littlest bit, and it works super well. The staying power of this concealer is amazing compared to a lot of the other concealers I've used. This stays under my eyes, and I think it's just because it's got a thicker consistency, so it's not really gonna budge unless you move it around. Once you set it, it stays there. The shade I have for this is light, and that might be the second or third lightest of the colors that they have. This is actually paler than my skin tone. This runs about maybe an NC15, maybe an NC10. So they are way, way on the pale side of the spectrum. If you have a deeper skin color, you may not find one that works for you. I've got eye bags, not dark circles, so this helps me to diminish the shadows underneath my eyes from the bag that's caused right here. And so I put it under here, and that really helps to brighten the area up so I don't look like a crazy person who hasn't had enough sleep or has been staying up all night crying over that Downton Abbey character that I love that ended up being killed off. If you get it in your skin color, you can use it to cover up imperfections, pimples, marks on your skin, tattoos. If you're oily under your eyes, you may need to prep your skin a little better before you use this. So I moisturize first. I use a stick concealer to give this something to really cling onto, and then I set it with a powder. But after that, it does not budge. For people with more dry under eyes, you will need to make sure that you moisturize. Without a doubt, this will show up in any dry patches or any fine lines, so you've got to make sure that that area is fully prepped before you apply this. I would recommend this if you're starting out in makeup and you really just want something that's inexpensive but is really good at what it does. This is a great product. The last product I'm going to show to you is the Hard Candy So Baked Bronzer in Tiki. And I don't use this as a bronzer, I'm using this as a highlight. It comes in this packaging and it's quite sturdy looking. And it's big and bulky and thick, but I'm a klutz and I dropped mine way too many times and I've actually broken the lid right off. You get 13 grams of product, or 0.46 ounces, and that's a lot. Considering I use this every single day, I'm nowhere close to hitting pan on it. It's a really pretty, shimmery, sort of goldy, warm color, but it doesn't come off too warm, so you can use it on pretty much every skin tone, I feel. It's not scented, so you don't have to worry about it adding any scents to your skin. It doesn't irritate my nose at all. It's super pigmented. I don't know if you can see that, but the pigment on this is just amazing. Let me just make sure you guys can see that. This has the most subtle shimmer ever. I don't even know if you could call it shimmer. It's literally just a glow. And you could even use it all over your face if you wanted to, although I don't particularly do that. This has so many uses in my makeup arsenal too, not only just for the regular places that I highlight, but even on the inner corners. I use it sometimes as a base eyeshadow. I use it underneath my eyebrows, definitely for my Cupid's bow. I mean, you can use this for so many different things on your face, and you have so much product that you don't even need to worry about wasting it. I've heard a lot of people say that this is a dupe for the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Soft and Gentle. And while I've never used that, what I've read and what I've heard is that they give the exact same sort of glow to your face, same sort of coloring, but completely different price range. If you're looking for a highlighter that's not too sparkly or glittery, this would be a perfect product for you. Even though it says it's a bronzer, I don't know of many skin tones that could actually use this as a bronzing color. It is on par with that MAC one that is much more expensive. You get this for about $7 or $8 with 13 grams of product. That's a whole ton in here. And you can use it every single day for months on end and you won't hit pan. Especially if you work in an office or going to school and you don't want to look like you're going clubbing and have like giant chunks of glitter. This is a great product, so I highly recommend it just to try it out. I mean, if you don't like it, you'll probably find someone who does like it. So I hope you enjoyed this 3 Things Thursday. If you did, don't forget to leave me a like. Let me know in the comments below what other things you want me to share with you guys on Thursdays. I'll try my best to accommodate. Otherwise, don't forget to hit subscribe to see me every Thursday here with 3 Things, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.